I was there for a dog's birthday.
Okay, that's not any better, but yes.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And for the second week in a row, I'm just winging it here, Mike, because I am not as prepared as usual here. I'm letting it down. You know what we get to do this week, Mike?
What do we get to do this week,
We
Chris?
get to watch Endgame.
Oh my gosh, this is it, man. I'm excited.
Your fever dreams are going to be done with. You're going
Literally.
to sleep silently. It's going to be good. We're going to talk about a Mandalorian sneak peek, which I think is well worth our conversation today after watching it. Don't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I clicked on the video not knowing I was getting 7 minutes of Mandalorian footage, and it's a cam from just some kind-hearted soul in the audience that somehow got away with it.
And it's still up. So somehow,
yeah,
we don't know.
that's the shock. It's got like
500,000
thousands.
views.
Yeah, it's got thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and like just either Disney doesn't care or they want the hype. I don't know what's going on over there.
It's true. We're going to talk about something, the next superhero phase, the Fast and Furious movies, with Hobbs Shaw and more.
Yeah, it's. I told you just before we started recording that this is your last week to say we're in the end game now, and you tried to say there's some loopholes where you think you can keep saying it, but this is the last time you can say it, Chris, on the podcast, because when we come back next week, we will be post Endgame.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, well, we're in the Endgame review episode now.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you don't test me, because I will find a way to say it. It may be the last Avengers movie of the year, but there is no holding back now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is I've had my third Avengers fever dream, as Chris has said. Like, these are real. I wake up distressed because I feel like my latest one, I can't remember all of them. They're all just mishmashed, but I think actually Deadpool was in my most recent fever dream of Avengers, which is very topical because we're going to be talking about Deadpool a little bit on the show. So I just can't separate my existence when I'm asleep from this podcast that we do, Chris. So I gotta see this movie, man, and I'm so stressed out that I have to wait till 10 p.m. on Thursday to go see it, especially West Coast time, which means because this movie is technically already going to be out in other parts of the world, Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, Tuesday. I mean, the world premiere is literally tomorrow, Monday night, and so we're gonna be seeing all those red carpet. I'm gonna probably watch it like passively to see all the people there. Tuesday I think is Australia, and they're our first line of defense against spoilers. And I fully expect a cam to be online by Wednesday, but don't give in. Do not give in, folks. I know you can do better than this.
It's not worth it. We've done too much to get here, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We've waited too long, and we're gonna talk. We have our first topics in game, and we'll get there. But I mean, like, This is it. This is the last week. We are no longer counting down years. I remember, was it 4 years ago when they announced these movies or more?
Man, I remember seeing Thanos in the end credit scene of Avengers, and to take a ding to my nerd cred, I knew what I was seeing on the screen was important, but I didn't know who this purple ribbed chin guy was. But it's like when you film somebody like turning over their shoulder and revealing a face, like if you know like film language enough, you know like, oh, this is important, this is a big deal. And the first thing I did when I get home is Google this guy to figure everything about it. And I think literally this at the same time I ordered my Infinity Gauntlet like omnibus, and it came and I read it and it was like, oh, this is crazy. I'm prepared. I didn't know I was preparing myself for like the next like 10 plus years of films. I didn't know like this was the roadmap, but this is what did Feige call it, the Infinity Saga. Yeah. It's finally wrapping up.
So to pass my time every night, I've been watching the Avengers movies at night, like half here, half there. And the first one, the phase one doesn't really set any of this up hardly at all, like barely. They were like scrambling to get to something of this quality, but Age of Ultron does set a lot of seeds for this finale, these last two Infinity War and Endgame movies, if you go back and rewatch that. So I'm really excited to see how do they wrap this up? How do they take these huge stones out of play, and what's the new path going forward? And I will tell you, every day there are more TV spots you have to avoid. So do not watch any of them. Like
Well,
they're counting. They'll say like in 3 days, get away from it. Just get away from it as fast as you can because you don't want to watch it.
I have a great recommendation for people if they want to amuse themselves outside of the Endgame realm before Thursday comes, and it's the man, the myth, the legend, Reggie Fils-Aimé has officially retired from Nintendo of America, and now he's on Twitter, and he is just like the nicest, just like dad personality to just have in your Twitter feed. And he was, of course, popular enough and a big enough deal to snag the handle @Reggie, which is a big deal if you can just get a singular name on Twitter. So I don't know how much he paid for that, or if just the people at Twitter really like him. But he's just been posting all week all of this cool, like exclusive, like Nintendo gifts that he's gotten, just the silliest things people have given him as retirement gifts. And like Reggie's just like hilarious. If you're not familiar with who Reggie Fils-Aimé is, he's the "My body is ready" meme. You know, before he went up to, I think he was promoting the Wii at like E3 or a convention somewhere, or like the Japanese developer. I don't know what it was. He was gonna do like a Wii Fit thing, and oh my god, I love Reggie. He's so funny. He's so lighthearted. I don't know if he's just retiring from just working in general. Maybe he's gonna go CEO somewhere else. But yeah, go follow @Reggie on Twitter. It's great. You can see a bunch of cool Nintendo stuff over there.
Yeah, Nintendo. I mean, since Nintendo's a family-friendly company, I was actually talking with people last night. They're putting a lot of actually like R or adult-rated games on the Switch right now. So I was kind of impressed with that. But there are some other ones on there I'd like to see. Have you seen the new Yoshi's Crafted World trailer?
No, I haven't.
It's like a Yoshi's. It's like a Yoshi like level platformer, but it's made out of like crafting supplies like cardboard and yarn and all this other stuff.
I think I've heard about it. Yeah,
it looks pretty fun. I actually entertained, and then you're getting to partake in some Smash Brothers sooner.
Oh yeah, friend of the show, Quentin Parker. He is having his engagement party with his fiance next weekend, and props to Allison, the fiance, who I think it might have been her master plan to do a Super Smash Brothers tournament. So I'm very psyched. But after lots of trial and error with Quentin's Switch and trying to figure out how to get controllers to work with Smash, because I'm old school, I gotta have a GameCube controller in my hand. He has adapted and evolved to other controller schemes. God bless him. I don't know how he can do it. But I have just this ingrained hours and hours and hours of muscle memory that I can't use anything else, or I'll just die over and over again. I tried. I even brought over Wavebirds, which I just had sitting under my bed for years and years. I don't even own a Nintendo console, but I held on to the Wavebirds just because I remember it was hard to get them when I first got them. So it was hard for me to get rid of them. But there's just this minute lag using an old school Wavebird with the adapter that in a fast-paced game like Smash, it's awful. I was a little bit better with that, so I went out and I bought my own USB wired GameCube controller, yellow Pikachu theme.
The Pikachu one?
Because usually that's my main in Smash. So I'm ready for this tournament next weekend. We'll see how well it goes. I don't really know what the competition's going to be like, but I guess if the groom-to-be ends up being the winner, that can't be the worst thing that happens since it's like half of his party. So I'm down. I'm ready to clown with Nintendo this week.
It's true, and I sent you a picture that Pikachu controller a couple weeks ago that I saw at a GameStop. I thought of Mike immediately. I'm like, man, he needs this. So
love me some Pikachu.
That's really cool. I think, man, I have been on a whirlwind of like just doing a lot of video game this week. I've actually I'm a big Dragon Ball person, and it's always a joke because my wife's like, I don't get it, but I always tell her that she's the biggest Dragon Ball expert this side of the Mississippi. So she always makes stuff up about it. But have you played the Dragon Ball Xenoverse games at all?
Is that the online one?
No, that's Fighter Z.
Okay, no, I don't know that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's essentially like you're going back and revisit. Like there are these people traveling through time, changing the time stream, and you're going back and revisiting all the major moments. So.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I got them on sale a couple years ago, and they. I finally went back to the second one because I never started it, and I'm like, well, I'll do it. And it's been pretty fun living in that world this weekend. And then, like I told you I'm actually organizing my online media. Today as well. It's spring cleaning season, Mike. It's a beautiful Easter Sunday. I'm in here cleaning my files on my computer because I'm gonna sleep easier doing that. It's gonna kill time. What are we? We're just killing time, Mike. Trying to get to the end game, and this is it. So, anything else you've been doing? We good?
Oh man, let's talk about Endgame, man, because we're
already talking about. We're already talking about.
Yeah.
There's no stopping this. So there has been a 4-minute section of leaked cell phone camera footage from the Middle East. It's not like someone did it from a computer here in America. I don't know why they showed like a 20-minute segment to someone over in the Middle East. I think I don't know, someone who controlled a country or something, like they previewed the footage for them to like before they could put it in their theaters. I think is actually how this happened.
Oh my gosh!
And someone did a camera and leaked it online, and it is.
This is awful.
There's 4 minutes of footage. My cousin watched it. I don't think he listens to the show, but he was like, "Yeah, it's real stuff," and it's like highly spoilerific. So he's like, "This gives away a lot of stuff."
This is Chris is basically a drug dealer for the Ark of the Covenant. You know, he can't look inside of the Ark, but you know he'll show other people, and then if they survive, he's like, "Hey, how was it?" It's like, I'm definitely not going to watch it, but I need to know what you thought. I love how you're just using like your cousin as like a guinea pig. Like, I don't think he cares so much about this franchise as I do. So look at it, gaze upon it, let me know.
He watched it without. I didn't even give it to him. He was like, "Did you watch it?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "I did." I'm like, "You sick son of a gun."
Yeah. So I don't know anything about this footage. I've gone just dark. I've gone out of my way to influence the algorithms on social media, and I'm starting to unfollow people actually that I actually enjoy seeing their opinions and perspectives from when it comes to these movies. But I've had to just get them out of my timeline because I just can't risk it. So once this leak came, I think I saw a sliver of a screenshot, maybe within my Instagram Explore tab, and I think it was maybe like Carol Danvers like looking over her shoulder. She seemed to be in a different suit, and it was like it was kind of like a grainy cam looked like screenshot. So I was like, I bet this is from the leaked footage. I don't know if it was, but man, if I didn't like throw my phone out the window and run away from it just in case, I'm like so worried, Chris.
So like I had the footage to look at the first frame because you know when you see something like that, you're like, is this the leaked footage or not? And I know the angle, and it's kind of slightly tilted to the left a little bit, and it is grainy. I'm like, okay, good. I don't have to watch it. What you saw was actually from a commercial. I know exactly what you're talking about. So
okay, good.
You're fine. You're seeing the trailers or the every day they put out a new 30 to 60 second spot, and I'm like,
Trust me, everybody bought their tickets. My theater, every single house is showing this movie. Like, if you're any other film this weekend, you're not getting any box office dollars from my theater because you're physically not being screened. So everybody is seeing this movie already.
Like I said, also IMAX is a lockdown for like the next month on any IMAX screens as well. So if you get a chance to watch this in IMAX, please do. Please do. Like, this is going to be an experience to see the 26% more screen. Now, what I want to see, Mike, and you tell me what you think. I want an IMAX digital or Blu-ray version to come out because I would like a dual set of Infinity War and Endgame with that full screen resolution. Like, that would be
great. I keep thinking of this TV that I saw at the Consumer Electronics Show earlier this year. It's this TV that is that's rollable. So I think it's using kind of the same screen technology that all these like new fancy foldable phones are using, but on a giant scale. So it rolls up kind of like a poster inside of this box, and then it like slowly lifts out of the box. But the great thing is that means you can customize your aspect ratio on this screen. So if you're just watching like, I don't know, like Lawrence of Arabia, you know, like a movie just like with a really like slim, tight aspect ratio for these really wide vistas, like the TV just raises up a little bit. You don't have like any black bars. And then I was just imagining like, if you're watching like Endgame on IMAX, you would just like raise it like all the way up to get this almost like 4:3 aspect ratio or something like that. That'd be crazy. TVs one day will be able to adapt, was what I'm saying, to these ratios. So yeah, release that sucker.
Yeah, exactly. That, I mean, people with projectors already, you know, kind of, if they're using just a big wall instead of a white screen,
perfect,
they have that luxury. But I mean, I would love to see it and just kind of I would love to pour through it. I have to say, I am breaking my own rule for this movie, Mike.
Oh, what's your rule?
You don't wear the band's t-shirt to their concert. And what did I buy this week?
Did you buy an Endgame shirt?
No, I bought the Advanced Tech jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right. The white suits we've seen in the trailer. We don't know if they're space or time suits yet.
Yeah, we don't know what they are. Are they quantum? Are they space? Are they time? Whatever they are they just suits so they all match and sell more toys? So reprint toys easier. I don't know. But I bought one of the jackets, $30 on Amazon with Prime. You know, I got it here before the movie. If I gain any more weight, it's gonna be too big. So I gotta keep my body down for the next week. Stay dehydrated so I don't have to pee at the theater. That's what I'm thinking here. But I'm very excited to wear that jacket in there.
I have to say it's a pretty good-looking jacket. Most of the time, I really don't like gimmicky hoodies. Like when they try to like recreate like a character's like outfit or costume and transition into a hoodie. Because most of the time, just to me, the aesthetics, I really don't like it. But since that's already kind of a clean aesthetic to begin with, it works a lot better on a hoodie.
It does, and the reviews on the one I bought, like they were like really low reviews, but I really like it. Like I wore it yesterday. Me and my wife went to the mall to pick up some pop vinyls, and she wanted to pick up some of those new Peeps donuts at Dunkin'. Have you seen those Peep donuts? They had Peeps donuts.
I haven't.
Yeah, she had to have the Peeps donuts. I'm like, well, this is the only time you're gonna get them because on Caesar's done, Peeps are out of season. But people were commenting, they were really enjoying it. Like you can't tell from the back what it is, but you see the front, and they're like, oh man, that's from the Avengers movie, right? I'm like, yeah, very excited. And then the first thing I was like, oh, did you get your tickets? I'm like, oh, sir, I have 3 showings of tickets secured. I'm good to go.
Yes.
So I think it's really fun. Yeah, like I said, I break my rules, but I enjoy this. I enjoy the look of this suit. I think it's gonna be cool. So, as for the tips and tricks, we always talk about this. There's a breakdown of this movie since it is now officially in theaters' hands. I think it's like 500 and something gigs on a hard drive for the 2D and 3D combined. There are 4.5 minutes of text scrolling credits after the mid-credit scene, Mike. So you have 4.5 minutes to run to the bathroom before that the final post-credit scene.
So what you're telling me here, just to be clear, you're watching the film, you see the final shot, and then it goes to credits, usually the more stylized credits where you see the actors, and you probably see Feige's name on there too. And then you get mid-credits, where who knows what it's going to be. You're going to get more footage, and then normal black and white probably credits. That's going to be 4.5 minutes until you see the final stinger.
That is correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they say, I believe the post-credits scene is 2 to 2.5 minutes on this one, and the same for the animated credits is 2 minutes, and I think the mid-credits is about 2 minutes. To put that in perspective, Infinity War, the Nick Fury scene was about 2.5 minutes as well. So with everyone being dusted, so about par for the course. So if you have to go to the bathroom after 3.5 hours, because there's 20 plus minutes of trailers before this movie, Mike, you know it, I know it. That's the time to go. I'm just trying to get all my math down. I'm like, okay, don't drink stop drinking at noon, liquids at noon. Just prepare myself because I'm very excited for this. I don't want to miss anything. Do you?
Oh, Chris, I can only agree so much.
I know, right? Jesus. Anything else about Endgame you want to throw in here? Because I think we've kind of nailed it.
I think one thing that I wanted to do real quick, since this is our last moment before we do our review and spoiler cast later this week, Chris, I want to know: do you want to throw out any last minute predictions? Like nothing like gigantic and grandiose. You don't need to like predict all the acts of the films, but if you had to kind of like maybe sum up how you think this movie is going to ultimately end, and maybe we can see who was right and wrong, what would you predict?
I think, one of the things I've been talking about this week actually is one of the scenes of how does Tony Stark and Nebula get back to the Avengers. I think they're going to come across the remaining Asgardians because that wasn't very far from where Thanos was to begin with. I think we might get to see the return of those like Korg and maybe Valkyrie and stuff. I think they're the ones who are going to save them, not Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Because she does like... That would be way too convenient for her to run into this random floating spaceship.
That's true. Space is very large by definition.
And she doesn't have any like way to pick up beacon like distress signals or anything like that. I also think, I really don't want it to be time travel, but I just don't know at this point. At the end of it, I hope that, there is a scene or some way that everyone gets to get an action scene this time around. Like, this is it. This is the culmination of every movie. We've not seen a lot of the Avengers work together, fight together. Like, you know, example, we've not seen the Wasp interact with anyone else outside of the Avengers. Why can't she come and have a scene in this as well? Like, when they start, maybe, hopefully, they're going to bring people back. We know it. Like, they got more movies to make. Like, Spider-Man and the Wasp, or Spider-Man and, you know, Black Panther. Give them something to do.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get, like, a very grand scene, similar to the first Avengers, when they did that awesome New York downtown scene where the camera was just flying around, and you just got to get these little motifs of every character, like, fighting an alien. Like, that was so great. We'll probably get something like 10x to the scale, where we're going to be flying around seeing everybody, like, doing a punch or a fight, and maybe we'll have, like, random, like, team-ups throughout, like, the camera whip and everything. I think that's going to be great. And I think Cap's going to die. I think everything so far has like telegraphed to the point of like he's ready to make the sacrifice. You know, it almost kind of seems like he's living on borrowed time just because he's a man out of time. He doesn't really have a lot of solid connections. You know, he's not like married or anything like that. He might have like a love interest, but he doesn't really have any surviving family or anything like that. You know, he's got his brother Bucky that's still around, but if he feels like Bucky's like finally on like solid footing, you know, he's got his mental state back, you know, he's like a normal human again. I think we can finally like wrap up like Cap's story. Well, so my big theory is like Cap's gonna die, most likely from sacrifice.
I would also, I think if we were gambling, Iron Man has a high probability as well. Simply because I'm just banking on what our next topic, Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. There's the Pepper Potts check that Happy's holding that says signed by Pepper Potts, and he doesn't have the Tony Stark mentor anymore. So, just basing on what we know, and we have been lied to multiple times, I would also put Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. maybe in that thing as well. But maybe they don't die. Maybe they're just sent to other places to protect their stones. I don't know. There could be a way.
What's the odds that we cry?
Oh, highly. I mean, what were the odds in the Infinity War we were going to cry? Pretty low going in, but then you know they pull a stunt like killing Peter Parker on us.
I would love a moment of cheering. Like I loved how my theater reacted when Thor came down with Stormbreaker, like Deus Ex Machina style in Wakanda. That got a huge reaction from my audience. I'm definitely looking for something like that in this film. So those would be my predictions. We'll see what happens. I think we're probably going to be able to get the spoiler cast and review to you guys as early as Friday. So you don't necessarily have to wait until Sunday, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it works. But go see this movie as soon as possible. It's obvious why you need to.
And if you don't have a ticket yet, you're missing out on possibly what we talked about being the #1 movie of all time. Like it's on par to break Avatar records. So, you know, don't be a nerd and miss out on this. Come on. Spider-Man Far From Home is the next Marvel movie after this, though. And Kevin Feige has confirmed that is the final Phase 3 film. Spider-Man Far From Home does not kick off Phase 4. And this follows the course of kind of how Ant-Man did. Does it end a storyline? Not necessarily, like, for the phase, but, like, it's just in terms of their announcements and what they had in production for the phase. Kind of wraps that up.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere that Feige himself, he didn't want Spider-Man coming out so soon. I think he wanted this movie to be pushed off further, maybe possibly to 2020, but, you know, he only has so much control over what Sony can do with their films, and I think Sony wanted to ride high. They probably needed a big movie for this calendar year, so Feige just was like, I guess I don't have a choice here, so let's see how it goes.
Have we had Spider-Man in the theaters every year since Civil War?
Oh man,
Civil
War,
War,
good question.
Then Homecoming, then Infinity War, then Far From Home. As of right now, probably Endgame.
We've definitely had a good stream of Spidey, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he's a good Spider-Man. He's a good Spider-Man. I mean, Homecoming was your most hated trailer, but your favorite movie of that year.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
I will always remember that. I'm like, wow, what a turn! What a turn from the back. So, I mean. Whether we want it sooner, I mean, it also moved up 3 days. I forgot we talked about that. Moved to July 2nd, so you actually get to see it 3 days earlier. It was the 5th.
That gives me a little bit of nostalgia for Raimi's Spider-Man, because I remember Raimi's Spider-Man movies always came out during the July holiday. Like 4th of July used to be the week for summer blockbuster movies before, the market exploded, and now we get a summer blockbuster like every other week of the whole calendar. So it's cool to see Spider-Man like back in the July weekend. So that makes me a little excited.
Yeah, that's a great way to kick off like the height of summer, I guess. That's the peak summer is the first week of July there. In July, what's also in July, Mike?
What's in July, Chris?
San Diego Comic-Con, and
Ooh,
we are
buddy.
very excited to be out there and do whatever it is you do at a Comic-Con of that stature, I guess. So very excited. This summer also we get the arrival of Ultimate Alliance 3 on Nintendo Switch. And you don't have a Nintendo Switch, do you? Are you gonna get one for this game?
You know what? I heard that Nintendo is kicking around the idea of putting out 2 more versions of the Switch, like a budget Switch and like a premium Switch. So maybe I'll see how much this budget Switch is, just to play a couple games on it. But hey, maybe I'll be able to pick this up with like a bundle or something.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 classic games. They're the sister evolutions of the X-Men. I want to say it was not Mutant Academy, X-Men Legends games as well. So coming back into Ultimate Alliance 3, consisting of the Black Order, which are Thanos' henchmen from Infinity War. It just gets me very excited. I'm sad that it's only on Switch, just like I'm sad that Spider-Man is only on PlayStation and that Iron Man is only on PlayStation VR. But if we're getting quality Marvel games, I'm okay with this for right now. Simply because I'm a 3-console household. As for everyone else, I feel really bad. I'm like, I wish you could play this with me too. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what it is. That'll give us something to do in the interim, because Spider-Man is our last movie until May of next year from Marvel, or at least until Disney Plus comes along and gives us some shows. So I'm excited for this. July 19th. So sign me up. I'm down. Big news. Thor 4 has been pitched to Marvel Studios, with Taika Waititi returning, per Tessa Thompson.
This is very large news because we've yet to see the mold break of the 3-film trilogy per character. So we've had 3 Thor movies, we've had 3 Iron Man movies, we've had 3 Captain America movies. Who's next? Who's coming up on that? I guess Doctor Strange, he's getting his sequel coming on.
Ant-Man would be the first one with a third.
Yeah, Ant-Man would be coming up soon. So we've yet to see the 4-movie mold broken. Obviously, as this whole franchise in MCU evolves, they're doing like the team-ups, the buddies, the combinations. It's even hard to say how much Civil War is a Captain America movie. It's definitely Captain America forward, that's for sure. So maybe the lines will start to get blurred here. But yeah, once Thor 4 breaks out there, I feel like you really got to go for it. Like, what is Thor's objective in his 4th film, his 4th time out there? Like, Asgard is no more. We're going to be pushing past all the craziness the character's gone through. Like, Thor has gone through so much character development beyond 4 movies already. So I feel like this 4th movie is just going to have to be not bizarre, but they're just going to have to really swing for the fences.
Well, we've always talked about Marvel getting more cosmic, and this is a chance for Thor to be out in the cosmos yet again. After watching, Thor is okay. He's treated okay in Avengers 1, and he's not treated very good in Avengers 2, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. He has that weird pool water scene that, had a bunch of deleted scenes. This is not connected to anything. Like, he gets to go have this weird conversation or weird dream in the water. And in the first one, he just disappears off the helicarrier, summons his armor, and then goes and fights in New York. Like, he's not been treated very well. So, like, even, like, you know how I feel about the Dark World. Like, we are in a prime Thor territory. Thor has bounced back so hard that he could get a 4th movie and, still be out in space, venturing through the cosmos. Maybe this is a chance to actually introduce Beta Ray Bill as a character, or some other, larger Thor characters that I can't name any right now, but
maybe this is the first example of a passing the mantle movie. We know sooner or later time comes for us all. All of these great, beautiful actors eventually will start to age, and even though Disney pays them very, very well, they're still creative people that eventually want to go off and do something else. So we're not going to have like the Chris Hemsworths, we're not going to have the Chris Evans, we're not going to have the Robert Downey Jr.'s forever. So eventually we're going to want the characters to continue on, or at least the spirit of the characters, so we're going to have to pass the mantle. So I'm really excited for what's going to be our first mantle pass movie. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe Thor hands Stormbreaker to somebody else, you know. Talk about like a casting challenge. Like whether you go like female Thor like they've done in the comic books, or maybe you just go someone else entirely that we haven't seen before. Like you're going to have to cast somebody amazing, enigmatic, somebody that the audience is going to love, that you can pass all of this story down to and everybody else can play on. Like imagine in like 20 years if they're still making these movies, which wouldn't be surprising, you're going to have a whole new cast of characters still playing in this same world of all of these decisions that were made so long ago. So maybe we're getting close. Maybe that's what these fourth movies are going to be, the Mantle Pass movies, or maybe the fifth, who knows? Yeah. Maybe the end credit scene of Thor 4 will give you a glimpse of just like a blonde-haired goddess that's going to end up being being Thor, you know? Yeah, maybe she'll reconfigure the hammer or whatever.
As long as it's not Jane Foster,
I
think we'll be fine. They could pick anybody else, really. There's a really cool story arc in Thor that was recently written by Jason Aaron, where you're actually going to see 3 versions of Thor. Like a younger version of Thor before he had his hammer, the current version of Thor, and a future version where he's King Thor.
That'd be cool.
And like they all are like, you know, there's a story across time that someone is trying to kill these gods across time. Like this guy is a god butcher, if you will. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's opportunities. I don't think they will do something that wild, but I mean, if they're telling Loki past stories on Disney Plus, there's an opportunity for Thor to venture out and do his own little thing too. So I'm very excited for that. Speaking of galaxies far, far away, The Mandalorian had a panel last week at Star Wars Celebration, and for some reason, someone got a really good, this is a good quality copy version of this video, Mike. Video preview of 7 minutes of footage from that panel, the whole panel pretty much.
Yeah, so they must have a good arm routine because in the gym, because they were holding that camera pretty well.
Yeah, the quality was great, the sound quality was great, and I told you this at the time. Wouldn't we watch a sneak peek video? This is 7 minutes, and you know I kind of felt bad. I'm like, well, Mike's gonna not want to watch this scene later when this show comes on because like I already seen this, but I couldn't not let you see the quality of this show, Mike, because the quality of the show is even, I think, above the movies right now in terms of what we've seen in any Star Wars film.
Yeah, it seems to be about 7 minutes long, and it's kind of split in half. You kind of got about 4 minutes of actual like footage from the TV show, and then the rest of it is just kind of like a sizzle reel of a bunch of stuff, you know, more than likely what you would actually see in a trailer. But yeah, it just seems on par. Like it seems on par with all of the quality kind of dramatic television that's being told in like this golden age, but just with Star Wars characters. And who would have doubted Jon Favreau? I mean, like he's been knocking it out of the park with the stuff he's been making.
So we got the Mandalorian played by, I can't think of his name. He's in the Golden Circle. He's the guy with the whip, and he was in Game of Thrones. Man, I feel bad for remembering his name, but he is the Mandalorian. You don't see his face, but you hear his voice, and he ends up talking to. He starts off talking to. I just had his name. Your handshake dude. Mike, what's his name? He does the bro handshake in The Predator.
We're not good with names right now, are we?
We talked about it while we were doing it. Anyway,
the Mandalorian is Pedro Pascal, but there you go.
Pedro Pascal, and he's talking to can't think of his name, but then he goes and talks to Werner Herzog, which if you don't know who Werner Herzog is, you had to look it up. We had to look it up because
Carl Weathers.
Thank you, Jesus. He's trying to get a bounty, and this bounty's like, you know, you can't have it on a disc. You have to go talk to somebody, and it's a room full of stormtroopers, and the tension is great. The way the dialogue is delivered, the blocking of the scenes, just how it looks, it feels so good. And before he even gets in there, you get to see the old eyeball bulb droid that comes out of the thing, and he's led down the hall by a trash can droid. So, I mean, we were talking like, how authentic does that feel to Star Wars as a whole?
And it's nice to see like a scene breathe, because most of the time we've only ever seen Star Wars either in like, you know, an animated kid show, which has to keep the pace up, or a movie where the pace is just predicated on the length of the film. So it's kind of cool to see something like kind of slow burn throughout a scene. That's really fun. Also with the very intimidating helmet, you know, I kind of was getting a little bit of a Judge Dredd vibes where you're not really seeing the emotion of the actor so much, but just his presence is just intimidating.
Yeah, and then the sizzle reel that followed this scene was even more full of action. You get to see him shooting people. You get to see my favorite was a guy. He had 2 guns and he had like a backpack gun that was shooting people too. I don't know if you saw that third gun that pops up out of the guy's backpack. And then the all the other bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back, including fan favorite IG-88, who was just whipping around, popping people left and right. It just looks so fun. There's so much action and there's gonna be so much drama. Like this 8-episode show is going to blow us away, I think, when it launches on Disney Plus. And I've heard that we're not going to get it all on the launch day. They're going to do like 3 episodes at a time, maybe, or start with 3 and then maybe slow feed us
really?
Episodes.
I mean, like I've said when we talked about Game of Thrones last week, I'm not opposed to a week by week release of a show. But three episode chunks seems odd to me. Like either do 1 a week or all. So let's hope we get something like that in my mind.
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, to me, it seems like they do that to build up a lot of hype at the start and then slow drip them. So they're like, hey, here, you like the first one, go ahead and just watch the second and third, and then we'll feed them to you. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to watch it. Like, I'm very excited about this.
Disney, it's $7. You're getting my $7. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're getting a year out of us. I guarantee you. Let's buy multiple years. I'll buy right now. I'll buy stock in this because I believe in it so much. But it just looks so good, and I hope this video is still up when you guys get to watch it. But like, it is it really surpassed my expectations for what this show is and what I thought it would be, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, just from a cam. I can't wait till we get to see it like in normal high quality.
Yeah, man, I hope they put that out there. That'd be great. Speaking of Star Wars, and no surprise here, Kathleen Kennedy has confirmed that there are plans for a Knights of the Old Republic movie or TV series. She was very vague on which one it was. I think this is the D.B. Weiss spin-off Star Wars trilogy. I think it's going to be an Old Republic style trilogy of films.
Yeah, shout out to C.L. Kidman, who sent a video my way of my favorite MTV interviewer, Josh Horowitz, who just knows how to get to the root of the question. He's like he's like someone let a nerd on the red carpet, and he's getting into the nitty gritty. So thanks to him that we were able to kind of confirm this. You know?
Yeah. I mean, what? That sounds awesome, but at the same time, I'm like, are they just doing it because people want it? Like, you know what I'm saying? I have reservations about it, but like, you know, how big?
So I watched a very long explainer video on YouTube talking about the origins and the whole story of the Knights of the Old Republic, because I didn't play the games, so I wanted to know where the story was at. And the story gets a little crazy. Like some of the stuff that's going on, you know, there's lots of people getting their mind wiped, you know, people switching sides. There's like these, there's just lots of strange encounters that seems to be what would happen if somebody wrote a video game. So I hope they can kind of maybe just take the spirit of the time and maybe not the story directly from the video games.
Yeah.
But if you can trust these dudes. I mean, they made Game of Thrones, one of the best TV shows ever made. So I think I can trust them to make a Star Wars trilogy.
And each season of Game of Thrones is kind of like watching a movie. So, I mean, or watching a bunch of mini movies, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, they're producing episodes this season that are the length of films.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and so I think this is fine. Like I said, I don't want them. Like I agree with you. I don't want them to rehash the video games. Like capture the essence of that time. Like Star Wars back then was way different. Like the Old Republic was way different than the New Republic, and you know how do they showcase what life was back then?
Yeah,
in the Star Wars universe.
What color is their milk?
Yeah.
That's what we really want to know. Was it orange back then?
I don't know. I don't care what color it was. I want to know how they got it.
In my day, our milk was orange. We didn't have this fancy green and blue milk.
Star Wars Pepperidge Farmers remember. They remember.
The Knights of the Old Republic remember.
That's exactly. I wouldn't go down that road. That road's dangerous. But yeah. So there you go. If people were concerned about that, don't be concerned. They got you covered. Deadpool is coming to the MCU or Marvel somehow. I don't know. It's not in Fox anymore because Fox is bought by Disney. But Bob Iger, the head guy at Disney, who's in charge of all this stuff right now, told Kevin Feige, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And
There
that's
you
his
go.
quote. And don't expect changes to the Deadpool films. And I honestly didn't expect any changes at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was safe to say, just because when they were making the second film, they were saying, "Don't give us more money. We don't want to be inflated with all of this cash and have it kind of mess with our creativity." So I think that they'll still probably get a little bit more money. That's usually just what happens with film franchises, whether you want it or not. The budgets are going to go up. Maybe just because you have to pay the actors more, just because every film their agents broker for a little bit more cash. I would hope what we are able to get out of a Disney Deadpool is just a little bit more access to characters. Deadpool loves skewering things, so it would be cool if we could get like a Disney-owned Marvel character on the screen that he can safely skewer, without having, to worry about the rights issues. So that's what I hope this merger unlocks. Deadpool, I like the first film better than the second one. The second one was still good. So I'm anticipating to see what a third one does, for sure.
If anything, I will say at least access to Kevin Feige and his team of people could at least give them a better story than 2, because I feel, again, I will reiterate that Cable got the shaft in Deadpool 2. Like, that's not the Cable we expected, right? Like, we wanted a time-sliding Cable who came in and, he didn't time travel once to get there and then once again to save Deadpool's life 5 minutes later. Like, I wanted more out of Cable and his background, and maybe even like his effects and abilities a little more. So if anything, maybe we can see a little more polished Deadpool 3 than Deadpool 2 was. But keep the jokes in there, keep it vulgar, keep the references coming, man. We gotta have those in there.
Yeah, keep it R for sure.
Don't take it away. Are you familiar with the comic series Mouse Guard, by the way?
Is that the one that was kind of Mouse in Hitler Germany kind of deal, World War II?
That's just Mouse, M-A-U-S. Mouse Guard is more like a medieval style, medieval like mice in this medieval era where there's no humans. It's just like mice, and they're like.
I feel like a visual is coming to my brain, but I'm not pulling anything from it. So go ahead. Yeah,
so it's an Eisner Award winning comic book. Eisner Awards are pretty hard to come by, so you can check these out. There's tons and tons of issues of this. People have kind of compared it to The Secret of Nim, but like there's no humans in this one. And they were supposed to start making a live action CG based movie of this. It had Idris Elba and a bunch of other people in it. And Fox or Disney or whoever canceled this film 2 weeks before we're starting production this week.
Oh, damn. Think of all those people who thought they had a job. That sucks.
Well, they definitely could still, because producers are allowed to shop the film to other studios right now. So this may come back to life, just not with what they currently were at Fox. And they said, I think some of the reasons I've seen, and take this with a grain of salt, is like the human CG to animal was way too close to their like live action Disney stuff right now.
Oh, I can see what you're saying, yeah.
But I'm like, wouldn't that be better if they had that technology to make it look that much cooler at the end?
I decided to Google image search it, and actually this isn't something I'm familiar with at all, but I really like these character designs. These little mices are adorable. They have like these giant ears, these tiny little eyes. I would like to see this turn into a film. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it kind of got like a Knights of the Round Table kind of feel to some of it, and like, it's... I mean, people love this book. I mean, I know people. I think it still might be out or.
I just scrolled by like a photoshopped image of Idris Elba, kind of faded over the top of a mouse, but Idris is like holding a gun in like a firing pose. I was like, this is not a good juxtaposition.
Well, that's why we don't share fan art here, Mike. So it's sad that, but like this is one of the first casualties of a merger. But thankfully they can shop it around. Now we're gonna talk about some more casualties in the production world with The Gifted, the Fox show.
Oh, that show, The Gifted. I forgot about it.
Yeah, canceled on Fox after its second season wrapped up. Now, I will tell you this. It's not because Disney bought Fox on this, I think. I think the show already had low ratings It was like middle to low ratings.
Well, I just went to check now because my wife and I were just like chilling out on the couch a few days ago, and we were just kind of running through all of like the CW superhero shows to kind of see how their ratings evolved and changed and compared over their seasons. So I kind of have like an idea of like what the CW is shooting for. But The Gifted premiered with like a fairly solid, close to 5 million viewers for the first episode. But then I scrolled down to season 2, and they're lucky to get anything above like 1.5, so they have definitely dropped off. That's a significant drop. Like in all of these like TV shows, usually your audience drops season by season, but man, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, so I mean, it was already pretty rough. So I mean, there was no surprise really, but I think Marvel TV had a stake in this show as well. Like they were helping produce it and putting money into it. So it's not like Marvel was like, you can't do it because we don't own it. Like, yeah, they were already doing it for them, like as a favor. And same with Legion, which is ending after season 3.
Also now that I'm thinking about this, I wanted to submit my apologies because I feel like for the last couple years we've been kind of dogging on Gotham, which is another Fox show out there. And during this phase of looking at views, I went to go and I check out Gotham because I was like, we always say no one's watching this show, and Gotham was pulling in pretty decent numbers, I have to say. It did premiere with 8 million viewers. That's all curiosity for sure in the pilot, but they held on pretty solidly. Like between season 2 and season 3 held on to roughly 4 million per episode, and even if I scroll like all the way down to season 5, they're still pulling in like 2.5, and that's better than a lot of the CW shows are doing that late into their runtime. So I will give my formal apologies. There's definitely people out there still watching Gotham, so I will give props to anybody who likes that show.
Well, you are reading my mind because I was thinking about Gotham today.
Oh, okay.
The final episode of the season is this coming week, the 25th. I think Monday. Is that Monday?
Oh God, I hope it's not Thursday. For their sake, I hope it's not Thursday.
No, it's early in the week, so I mean,
okay.
Gotham series finale. Let me see here, and I've got to
April 25th is what this says.
Really? Is that?
Yeah, it says.
Wednesday?
Oh my God, that is isn't that Thursday? April 25th.
I could be very wrong. I don't know. I got to pull up a calendar now. You've got
I got the episode list here. The episode is called The Beginning. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's going to be very.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
I'm so sorry, Gotham creators, that you got a premiere on that night.
Yeah, you think they'd push it a week or something or move it around? Jesus.
Ooh.
And Fox, Disney owns it. You think they'd do it? But anyway, I'm gonna go watch the first episode and then the final episode after this, out of curiosity. So I got to see how it started and how it ended, Mike. I'm very excited because it jumps 10 years in the future on this last episode. Did you know that?
Oh, cool.
So yeah. That show is ending as well. A lot of shows are ending. We're at a, like I said, the edge of a new era of superhero stuff. Disney Plus taking theirs off and other ones. So
yeah. Speaking of stuff that's ending, segue.
Mike is so excited for this to end. Dark Phoenix. We get the last trailer for the upcoming film, and let me tell you right now, Mike, their trailers got better in quality as we've gone along, but the hype for this movie has diminished even more with each one.
Oh,
even
man.
the trailer's great.
Yawn City.
Yeah.
Like you can just feel all of the notes of this film and everything that's going to happen. I saw some people saying, "Oh, I'm excited, to see kind of some of the space scenes and stuff like that they're going cosmic." And all I can think is that's probably just the beginning of the movie. I bet they don't go back to space at all, because if they did, they would be cramming it in the trailer to try to get people to go see this movie, because they got to put everything forward that they can. But we've seen all of this stuff before. We've seen it all before, so it's not exciting. So yeah, I kind of yawned my way through it.
Yeah. Had this been the first and only trailer, I'd be like, okay, maybe they can do something. Mm-hmm. But the first one they gave us away literally all the beats of the film. Like even the pretty much, that Mystique is going to die in the first. They were like, yep, we're killing off a main character here in the first trailer. I'm like, did you have to show it? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, this is just morbid curiosity at this point. I want to know how they end this franchise.
Yeah, exactly. And, we're one of the two people, because this is projected for a record franchise low opening weekend. Mm-hmm. So, out of how many movies is this now? Is this 9 X-Men?
Too many, Chris.
9 X-Men. Is that 3 and then 3 Wolverine and then Yeah, I mean, out of 12 movies, like you go out with a whimper and not even a bang. So, get Simon Kinberg out of this stuff. That's the problem. But, you know, if it's got to end, it's got to end, and then we're all excited it's coming back to Marvel. So we'll maybe they'll do a Dark Phoenix right. No, I'm kidding. They won't do that at all. Things that this is interesting. We had news about Swamp Thing this week from the DC universe, and we got our first preview footage, which is just showing Swamp Thing coming out of a swamp very slowly.
Starting on a positive note, you just basically see from the neck up coming, and he looks basically like Swamp Thing. And he's not really moving, so there's not really a whole lot to pull from there, but letting you know that they're starting the hype train. Yes,
so, but this came out after they announced the series production is halting on pause after only doing 10 of the planned 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And so the reports are that they are possibly rewriting an ending for this on the last 3 episodes. Even the cast was like, we weren't aware that they were stopping after 10 episodes to take a break. And other reports are saying that the DC universe is now in trouble, and they may be writing an ending to end this series rather than write it to continue on.
I mean, I can put on my tinfoil hat here for sure.
I know you will. Go on. Enthrall us.
So some people are trying to give the show the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, maybe these DCU executives are being smart here. They're looking at a show that potentially has a very VFX heavy budget, and maybe somebody in accounting or some line producer just didn't carry a one, didn't do the math right, and they're just like, we cannot afford 3 more episodes of Swamp Thing. We're just going to have to cut it at 10. Or it could be maybe the story just didn't quite work with 3 extra episodes. How many times have we said that about Netflix shows, where it's just like, man, if this Daredevil season was just 10 episodes instead of 13, man, would the quality improve so much more. I mean, I could take those as an excuse if this would have happened so much sooner. I mean, the whole reason why you write scripts first and get them approved is so you don't waste all the money in production before you get to it. That's why pre-production exists to begin with, so you don't have this kind of snafu. So it's really hard for me to accept this as an excuse. What I think is happening is they're doing everything that they can to make this service work, because Disney just announced a $7 a month streaming service, which is arguably and debatably better in every aspect than the DC streaming service. And I'm not saying that to be like a hater of DC, but just if you look at the content and the quality and the amount, it's just not, they're not in the same ball game. You know, if like DCU was maybe like a $5 bolt-on that you added to like your Amazon Prime viewing experience, or you bolted onto Hulu, you know, that's a little different, but it trying to compete as a standalone service just doesn't work. And they've now announced 2 different waves of digital comic books coming to the service that really just kind of seem like Hail Marys. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of marketing strategy around it. I basically just see like a tweet drop in my timeline that says, oh wow, DC just added 10,000 more comic books to their streaming service. And I'm just like, well, what's the strategy here? Is it just 10,000 random comic books? Are they being strategic about it? You know, are they just saying, are they adding certain catalogs? Like what's the year? What's the fluctuation here? Like, there needs to be some sort of rollout strategy. So it just kind of seems like a Hail Mary.
Well, I will tell you this, knowing DC, they did not believe in digital comics when Marvel like went all in on it. So I don't think they had the full catalog completely done on digital yet. Like they are playing catch up in the digital realm. That's why they haven't done it all. But even if they started with them all, like, is that price point with all that kind of, it's not stale content, but very slow content, is that even feasible? Like you said, like Disney's dropping a lower price point with more higher quality content at the end of the day. So like, what do you do?
And also it's really confusing because Warner Brothers has also announced that they're going to make their own streaming service. So that's like Disney saying, oh, we're going to have a Disney streaming service and also a Marvel streaming service. Like, it just doesn't really make much sense for the consumer. Like, so I could see like maybe DCU isn't doing awful. maybe they're just doing, okay, not great, not something like a board would really like, or like investors would really go head over heels for. Maybe they're just trying to slow it down and eventually just roll it into this Warner Brothers streaming service, whatever it's going to be, so you can like binge watch your series of Friends again, because Warner Brothers technically owns Friends. So maybe you can watch Titans right after you watch an episode of Friends or something like that. So I think that strategically makes more sense from the point of a streaming service. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. So we're just going to fold it in. Who knows what happens to those digital comic books, because that's extra weird now. Now you got like a streaming service for the normal masses that maybe they can get access to digital comic books too. Yeah, I don't know. This just seems really crazy. But yeah, that's my tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah, one of many. I mean, I just think, we haven't watched Titans. Mm-hmm. We haven't watched Doom Patrol. You still haven't watched Young Justice Season 3. Mm-hmm. Who's excited for Stargirl? Who's the audience for Swamp Thing? Like, how do you get a bunch of new people to join on whenever, it doesn't... It's a weird draw for, like, very little things. If you said, oh my gosh, do you like Loki? A lot of people are like, yeah, I love Loki. Well, come watch Loki's TV show. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, did you like... Either you have a thing for the Falcon or Winter Soldier, come watch our new TV show. There's just a lot, like, in the DCU that we don't know what's happening, and we don't know if it's good or bad, and I'm just, like, floating in the ether. But if the DCU is in trouble, I don't think they would be working on Titan Season 2, which brings us up to our next topic, where they've already cast Bruce Wayne for Season 2 with the actor Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. You remember him?
He's the dude that had that dragon disease, right?
Yeah. He's Mr. Friendzone for Daenerys.
Oh yeah, for Daenerys. So they're definitely going for an older Bruce Wayne, because he's a bit of a grizzled dude.
His hair's thinning a little bit on top. He's a little bit blonder. Like, is this like what's that one show, Batman Beyond? Yeah, is this Batman Beyond era Bruce Wayne kind of thing? Like, I don't know.
would be kind of weird if Titans like introduced like a Terry McGinnis, Yeah. That would be an interesting dynamic. Wow, that would be pretty exciting. But I mean, I guess like Titan Season 2 kind of, maybe that runs on an awkward timeline of production where, Warner Brothers isn't 100% sure what happens. But the thing is, they have the benefit of, if for some reason the streaming service goes under, they can always put it on the CW. They got plenty of time slots there to put up another superhero show. So there's always a safe haven there. Another funny thing is, Supergirl premiered with like 12 million viewers on CBS, and CBS was just like, that's not even enough for us. You go over to the CW now. So CW is kind of the dumping ground, it seems like.
Really? I mean, they'll take anything. I mean, Greg Blaney's got an idea. They'll do it. They'll do it for him. So, yeah, I don't know. Titans is coming with Season 2. I'm excited a little bit of it, but I'm just not thrilled. Yeah, I'm
doing my best not to hate, because the shows individually on their own, I'm sure they're great. There are lots of fans. There's lots of creativity going on there, but it's just the strategy of getting it out into a world in a very siloed streaming service. Like it's hard to have like a water cooler conversation about Titans if your coworker has to go out of their way and get another streaming service.
Yeah, we're coming back to where it's easier to obtain things in a nefarious manner than it is to subscribe to 18 streaming services to watch it.
I've said this 1,000 times. I will definitely subscribe to 18 streaming services as long as I never have to see another freaking commercial again. So do whatever you want, Hollywood. Just keep those commercials out of my streaming service.
Yeah, well, no promises for you, Mike. No promises. We're going to switch gears a little bit. Amazon is getting a comic book adaptation of the book called The Boys. And we've talked about it. We've seen the first trailer a while back, and now we had a Not Safe for Work teaser trailer come up today.
There's a baby with laser beams that cuts off a person's head.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It starts off with some X-rated actions from the superheroes, and then they're like, "Well, why are superheroes like? What they do anything? How do you stop?" And he's like, Carl Urban's like, well, we go and spank him. And he's like, how do you spank a superhero? And I'm like, I don't know either, but I want to find out.
There's a woman riding somebody's face, and that person's face gets crushed.
And there's brains everywhere.
There's a lot of gore, but yeah, I mean, the premise isn't original just because the premise comes from a comic book, but I haven't read the comic, so the idea is very clever. Like, what happens if you just get basically a dickhead of a superhero that's being very irresponsible and irrational, maybe not technically to the point of super villain yet, so you just got to rely on like normal folks to just maybe really, I would imagine they have to be very thorough and very planned out before they, execute one of these spankings, if you will, because you can't just go in there all willy-nilly with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and they're not superheroes themselves. Like, they're just regular people.
Yeah, exactly. They're just regular bearded Carl Urbans, which we love. The first episode is going to be directed by Dan Trachtenberg, which I love because he directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. So he's actually a film director directing an episode, which is what we're seeing with The Mandalorian, with Taika Waititi and other really popular people doing episodes. So this is all good. And this is a crazy trailer. You got to go watch it. And it's only the second craziest trailer of the week, so go check it out.
Well, I think also just to point out, we talked about Preacher getting 3 seasons or 5 seasons or however many it had.
I don't remember what we landed on when we were talking about this.
There's a lot of Preacher seasons, and this was developed by Seth Rogen and his buddy Evan Goldberg, who's also developing this one as well. So, like, if they're doing great stuff. So, I mean, this is.
Yeah, I kind of get a little bit of almost like a Watchmen vibe, kind of when I see some of the costume designs of the heroes too.
They're very generic-y. Like, they're like, like this old school superhero who's not quite Superman. The other showrunner is Eric Kripke, who was known for actually creating Supernatural on the CW, which has ran for 15 seasons now.
So we might get some longevity out of this show. Who knows?
Well, either way, like I think it's a great team. They've been doing good stuff. So I think we're good. Halo, the TV show on Showtime, is moving right along, and they have cast Master Chief himself, John 116. Actor Pablo Schreiber, who's known for American Gods or Orange is the New Black, depending on your audience, will be the Master Chief, the guy in the thing. He's a tall dude. He's a big dude.
Yeah, how often we're going to see his face?
Yeah, and they say you definitely could see his face. Did you watch Orange is the New Black with him on there?
Yeah, the funny thing is I'm trying to remember. I'm looking at his face right now.
He
does look familiar. Oh yeah, I guess without his mustache, you're really. Oh, there it is, right there. Wow, he's like basically a cartoon character when he has the mustache on, but without the mustache. Good for him. This is a big get for this guy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and in American Gods, he's the quote unquote leprechaun, Mad Sweeney, and they're like, aren't leprechauns supposed to be small? But he's like a huge dude. So it's really funny. I really like that show. He's also the half-brother of Lou Schreiber, who played Wolverine in X-Men Origins. Wolverine.
I was going to say that last name sounded familiar.
Yeah, so he's
Are we sure it's not Schreiber? I thought it was Schreiber. Maybe it's Schreiber.
I don't know. You can call it whatever you want to do. Chris, look it up.
You are the Halo man, for sure. You are the person that's in love with the lore, in love with the games. You love everything about it. What's the one thing you're really looking for when it comes to like a Halo series? I mean, it's going to be on Showtime, so you're going to have a little bit of maturity there for sure, because it's like it's a HBO-esque network. So it seems like they're going to really take a shot for the king there of streaming. So
the thing that they've shied away from so many times with a Master Chief show or animated series is like they don't give him a voice and they don't let him do it. He's just a strong silent type. Mm-hmm. Because like when you play the game, you're supposed to be that character, right? You're imprinting on that character. I don't want them to make it where I can imprint on the lead of the TV show. Make him his own character. Make him do his own things like they do in the books. He has his own mind. He can act on his own. So like, give him some dialogue. Make him like, show that he's not just a run and gun badass. Like he's actually a strategic military leader of the Spartan 2s. Like he was the leader of these super soldier, that wave of super soldiers.
If I remember right, the super soldiers, aren't they technically like larger humans? Aren't they like 8 foot tall or something like that?
They're genetically augmented with to be bigger and larger. Yes.
Do you think they can pull that off in a live action TV series? Like, are we going to see like 8 foot tall people like walking around?
It depends on where this is set. He is one of like a handful of the Generation 2s that are left. Mm-hmm. The Generation 3 Spartans and 4 Spartans are just regular people, size people. Their armor only makes them look bulkier in the later waves. because there's only I think there was like 55 of this Gen 2. I mean, I'm getting way into Halo lore here. But of the Master Chief, he's a Generation 2 Spartan, meaning that there was like 55 of them selected based on their genetics, and they made them like they were chosen so they would live through these surgeries and these growth enhancements. The Generation 3s and 4s were just given like abilities to augment their suits, so they're like not really that big. So he and a handful of others are large people. So if they show other Generation 2s, yeah, they need to. But if not, if they're all in like their armor, they can just all do that fancy Lord of the Rings, magic
perspective shift.
So it can go either way.
You heard it here from Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I just want him to have some dialogue and do something like other than just stand there and be silent and strong. Like that's boring. I don't want to.
I hope they give his helmet a mustache. That's what I want.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have the skills to do that, Mike. I believe in you when it comes out. And lastly, we're going to talk about the craziest trailer that came out all week that me and Mike both agree. Hobbs and Shaw got official trailer number 2, no longer a teaser trailer. And this actually gave me the second half of the movie, I think, which is going to be way more crazy than the first half of the movie. And The Rock and Jason Statham are just having a blast. Idris Elba is, as he calls himself, Black Superman in this. And when he calls himself Black Superman, guess what that does, Mike? This puts it in Superhero Slate's wheelhouse.
Yeah, there you go.
Because this is now a superhero car movie. I don't even know what to do. Like this is just wild. This is absolutely wild.
It's just bananas. You're getting kind of like the buddy cop antagonistic feeling throughout the trailer between Hobbs and Shaw, which is really what's going to change this movie for me. Because if you kind of take out their funny little kind of one-upsmanship throughout the trailer, you're just getting a normal Fast and the Furious movie, which I usually don't get on board with. Everyone always says, oh, these new Fast and Furious movies, they're so crazy. They're like a theme park ride. Just shut your brain off and go watch it and enjoy it. And I've really tried these last few Fast and Furious movies, but they're not my speed. They're not my style. I think some of the set pieces are fun, but I just can't get engaged. I can't connect to the movie. But it seems like I might finally have my way in, which is a little bit of fun between these characters just trying to one-up themselves and trying to get the other one's goat. And this is being directed by the director of Deadpool 2, also a producer on John Wick. A crazy long stunt person resume. So it seems like we're going to up the action even more. And I love kind of like the supernatural, superhero vibe of it with Idris Elba. So this is right up my alley. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on here. We get to see Hobbs' mama sold all the guns. They only got spears. There's going to be craziness going on there.
So it starts out like there's like, your typical city, like we talked about, like the city where that action's going to be, like running down the buildings and being stuff. And actually, Jason Statham, his character, is he Shaw, I guess? Or I don't know which one's which.
Whoever Shaw, apparently Shaw killed like a good guy in one of the past Fast and Furious movies, and everybody's freaking out about the lore. Like, how can anybody like this character? He killed a good guy, and I'm just like, what? I haven't seen that movie. I don't care.
Yeah. Well, anyway, his sister, I think she was actually in the recent Mission Impossible movies. She actually got some action scenes this time as well. Like, she's not just a damsel in distress, which was cool. But then they go right back to the island, like straight out of a scene out of Moana, it feels like. But like at the end of it, like they jump. I've hardly watched any Fast and Furious movies, Mike, to be honest with you. But they went and threw in the old nitrous camera movement. We're like, oh, he hits the button, so we got to follow the tube to watch it go into the engine to blow up. So I'm like, it does that. Then he jumps into a helicopter, hooks the helicopter. I'm like, okay, this is crazy. And then what do they do after that, Mike? They hook 5 other cars together into like this human centipede of cars pulling down this helicopter.
It's like a barrel of monkeys, and then you get like the
Rock pulling the thing with his own arms, like the cars
Captain America style, trying to hold the helicopter and everything. Man, it's just gonna be nuts.
Man, this is gonna be one of those like I don't eat popcorn at the movie theater, but by God, load me up with a large bucket of popcorn.
It very much reminds me of like early 2000s action films, because what's at stake is a virus that destroys half the population. I mean, how many times have we seen a villain with that exact same plot line? They all just want to get rid of half the Earth. They all want to go full Thanos, and they just think they can reinvigorate. This wasn't in the trailer, but I'm guessing he wants to cull the human race so he can create more superpowered people and reach like the next phase of human evolution or something like that. Like I know that monologue's coming for sure.
Well, exactly. And he wants to create more Supermen, but I mean, like, I am just feeling like this is a big middle finger to the face of Vin Diesel. Be like, you thought Triple X was good. Well, Hobbs and Shaw just triple X'd your triple X. So that's exactly what I'm feeling out of this movie. And whether you want to consider that a superhero movie or not, he does say Black Superman twice in this movie, and I'm like, now it is. It's in our wheelhouse, Mike. We have to go. We'll have to do a review of this because I've not seen any other Fast and Furious except like the first two and maybe the three. But I want to see. I want to see
this. I want to see this in a film with a rowdy audience.
Yeah. Exactly, man. I want to like do they have like, can you rent muscle cars from like car rental places? Like, I want to roll up in a muscle car and like let people know what I'm there for.
I only drive automatic, so I have a feeling I'm not going to get a muscle car that's automatic.
Can we get like I now know what kind of car you drive, Mike. Can we get like a little plastic shell to just put over top of yours so it looks like a muscle car?
No, let's just go right to the heart of the matter of muscles, and we just hire some muscly dudes to just carry us to the theater.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? I know a listener of the show, Jason Ambrositis. He's listening right now. If I can get Jason and his brother-in-law, Troy, to go with me, like you don't mess with Jason. He's a big dude. He's
muscly dudes.
Yeah, big muscly dude. Like you wouldn't. I mean, I love Jason. I know you're listening. I love you to death. I'm not scared of you, but everyone else is probably scared of you. And I'm like, that's the guy I want to have with me if things go sideways. So, Hobbs and Shaw this summer. Sounds like. So I mean, it's gonna be a fun summer, Mike. Once we get through Endgame, which is this week,
the fun stress of Endgame. 4
more sleeps. I'm counting them. 4 more sleeps, Mike. Man. And then actually, I need to count the number of times I go to the bathroom so I can be ready for that day too. But yeah, we're gonna make it. I'm very excited. But
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but if any more historical landmarks want to go ahead and burn down and just take up my news cycles to keep me occupied, go ahead. If it has to happen this year, put them just before Endgame so I don't have to concentrate on this film that's coming out.
Is there any, like, we could make a program that sets your time feed to like a certain date in history, so you just get to relive that historical week for like a week, like, oh, look at all this fun stuff that happened back in like 2006.
I know the easiest solution is just to delete the app from my phone and just remove it from my favorites bar in Chrome, but one man is only so strong.
Yeah, my job requires me to be on Facebook and social media a minimum 8 hours a day, Mike. I don't know how I'm going to get through it myself, but I'm taking one for the team. If I know something's out there, I let you know. I do, because I'm usually up way before you are because of the time change, or time zones. But I think that's the show this week.
That's our show. Bless our mess.
We're just trying to kill time, really. That's what we're at this point. So, Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at, buddy?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you, see where you're going this summer. Where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87. I think I need to share that video of that Michael Jackson arcade game last night, because when you put the quarter in, he goes, woohoo, like a lot higher than that, and it was just perfect. You also head over to Comic UI. Hopefully, I mean, I'm gonna be talking about, if you guys want to talk Endgame starting 10 p.m. on Thursday night, I will be free and ready to go. If anyone has any questions or comments or concerns, you hit me up. But don't put spoilers online. Message me directly. Don't tag me in that. I'm not gonna. If you're on the East Coast, if you're not in the West Coast timeline, I'm technically not gonna be done with Endgame until it's Friday. I don't think Mike's gonna talk to me at Thursday at all. If Record has any indication, like, usually I'm like, hey, I'm in the theater, and then he's just gone. He's not looking at my messages the rest of the day. So, it sounds like Friday you and I are gonna have to get together and gush over this movie.
This is our Super Bowl, everybody.
Yeah, it's the end game. We're in it now. So,
that's the last one you get. That's the last one you get.
That's the last one for the episode. Mike, if people want to know more about our shows and where they can listen to our review when it drops next week, where they can find that at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com to see where you can subscribe to the podcast and to get our awesome show notes. So that Mandalorian sneak peek video, run. You got to go see that as soon as possible before they take it down, before they take down that cam. And we got lots of other trailers in the news, so go to superheroslate.com. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you, especially when it's spoiler free, especially this week. So drop us a line on Twitter, reach out to us on Instagram, drop a line in the YouTube comments. We love hearing from you. We want to know what you guys think about Endgame, so please go check it out this weekend just for your sake. Not because to give Disney dollars as fast as possible, but we don't want it spoiled for our little lovelies out there. So go check out the film. And we love our super fans, so if you're a super fan of the show, if you want to be a super fan, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and make sure you're subscribed, because Endgame's coming out, Chris, and we're in the Endgame now.
Oh, thank you very much. You know what? I'm gonna up the ante a little bit, Mike. Here, I'm gonna up it. You ready?
Okay.
I want people to hashtag Superhero Slate and tag us wherever you are, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, wherever you are, in the theater with your. I mean, I'm gonna have an Avengers Endgame popcorn bucket and a souvenir.
Yeah, cup. Let us see your snacks.
I want to see what you're doing. What's your theater wear? Tag us. I'm gonna give something out. I'm gonna go through my stuff here. I might have another 10-inch Thanos sitting over there on the shelf I could get rid of. Pop vinyl. And, you know.
Oh, my gosh. Don't get Chris any more hype. He might give away his car.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so hyped. I mean, I've got stuff. I'm gonna give some stuff away over the next couple weeks for this. So just tag us, share your stuff, leave your reviews, like Mike said, if you have it on iTunes or wherever you listen to it, Google. And we're gonna start giving stuff out this month. So let's do that. I'm feeling good. Let's go. I'm gonna snap my fingers and start getting rid of half my stuff, Mike. That's what I'm gonna do. What's that? Marie Kondo.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week, and enjoy your Avengers movie.
All right. Adios. We're in the Endgame now. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I would think a handful of people came up with, and then they tweet it, and then you're like, you stole my joke.